Hi everyone. I want to tell you my story on how I healed past 14 years of severe agoraphobia with panic attacks. 14 years ago, I went through a lot of trauma during a breakup with a boyfriend that I thought was the love of my life at the time. On top of this happening, my family ended up rejecting me, and that triggered even more anxiety to the point where I was having panic attacks every 2 hours, 24 hours a day, even in the middle of the night for 3 months straight. I also deal with hypoglycemia, so I was getting my hypoglycemic attacks and my panic attacks confused because they feel very similar. So now I was eating every 2 hours on the dot, 24 hours a day, even in the middle of the night for 3 months straight. It went from a size 3-4 to a size 18-20. All of my self-worth was on the outside of who I was. So I immediately hated myself, said horrific things to myself, hid myself from the world, from people that had seen me skinny. I completely disappeared inside of myself and shut myself off from the world, from love, from anything that could possibly hurt me. This was all done subconsciously, of course. This wasn't a conscious decision that I was making, but it did happen. I lost friendships, I lost jobs. I have missed out on weddings, birthdays, hanging out with girlfriends, births of babies, all kinds of things that I'm sure if you're watching this video, you completely understand and can empathize. Something that came up yesterday, which has compelled me to do this video, is that I started thinking about the fact that I missed my uncle's funeral because I wasn't able to make it to the funeral. This was in 2013, and I remember thinking, I have to make it there. I have to make it there. I can do it. I can make it. I can go. But there was a lot of things that would stop me from being able to do that on top of the agoraphobia. I hadn't done enough of the inner work to have enough confidence in myself to face my family. I hadn't seen my family in 10 years at this point. Because all of my self-worth was on the outside of who I was still, I was extremely fearful of seeing them fat, because fat people in my family were made fun of and they were made to look like they did not deserve love. And everyone that was going to be there, except for maybe 2 or 3 people, pretty much hated me, did not want to see me, and would not want to see me. But all I could think was my favorite aunt was grieving, and I wanted to be there for her. So I called up my best friend at the time and asked her to drive me. This is an 1.5-hour drive. It is mainly freeway, which is my biggest nemesis, which I'm sure you can relate to. So I got in the car, and of course it was raining. Of course, rainy, overcast has always been another big challenge for me. It always makes me feel claustrophobic, gives me more anxiety, more closed in, more shut in, and just produces panic attacks. So we made it halfway there, which was huge. I was white knuckling it the whole time, fearful, wondering when it was going to happen. And sure enough, it did. About halfway there, I had her pull over. We were in a restaurant. I had a therapist friend that I was talking to at this time, so I called her up, seeing if she could help me. And as most of you will relate, once you're in that fear space of your brain, no one can help you. And of course, I reached out to another person because another person was my safe space. I needed someone to drive me. I needed someone to call. That was my safety, my thing. Some of us have magical items. We have a stone we hold on to. We have a magical necklace we hold on to. We have something that we feel gives us a fake sense of safety, a fake sense of power to be able to do what we need to do. So yes, I called her up and she was not able to help me. So now I have shame setting in. And we're sitting there in the parking lot, and I'm waiting and waiting for the feeling of, yes, I can do this. Yes, let's go. I've got the visions of my family in my head which is scaring me on top of, I'm trying to use that to compel myself to be able to go and have the energy to be able to go, the strength. And I realize it's just not going to happen. So now deep shame sets in, and self-hatred and feelings and thoughts of, I'll never get over this. I'm never going to be able to live. I'm never going to have my life back. I'm never going to be normal. Why is this happening to me? Why can't I get this to go away? I'm a healer and a psychic. Why can I not heal myself? Why can I not help myself through this? Who has an answer for me? What thing can I do to help myself? All the things just spinning. Then, of course, the crying out to God to take my life, because this isn't living. And 10 years of this at this point, all of my 30s are gone at this point, in my opinion. I've wasted so much time is gone. I'll never, ever get back. So I go through many more years of that and that process and that way of thinking and all the things. And until one day, recently, I guess it all first starts out in November of 2020, last year. I'm really big on New Year's resolutions. I've always been somebody who's been like, oh, new start, new beginning. I love that feeling. There's an energy with that. And when you have intentions, they're really powerful. And I've spent a lot of time at this point, right? So this is 8 years later. I've spent a lot of time on the inner work. I've done a lot of that work for myself, and healed myself of all the things that would have stopped me from getting in the car on the level of fear of somebody looking at me, seeing me. I could totally face my family to this day and would not have a problem with that. That would not be an issue. So that self-confidence and that self-love was there again. It had finally come up, and I had been able to cultivate that in myself. So that was there. And I started to think about, what was it that I wanted for my life in 2021? What was it that I maybe hadn't worked on and hadn't changed or hadn't explored in myself or my life? And I realized there were two things: money and fear. And I knew what 14 years of going back to my fake safe place, home, right? I knew what that did for me. I know what that does for me. It gets me nowhere. It keeps me stuck. It keeps me in the dark. It keeps me in a temporary fake safe space at the moment, at the time. It keeps me stuck in a time loop of what happened a long time ago. It keeps my body stuck and sick, and my mind sick, and me losing out on everything that life has to offer. I'm now 45, and I knew that this following year would mean I was 5 years away from 50. And I remember seeing people in their 60s, 50s, who had said they'd been suffering for 20 plus years and just had given up and knew that they would never have a normal life, and they were just okay with that. And I don't want that. That's not what I want for myself. I have big, massive goals. I'm a women's empowerment coach. I help women heal and rise, and in big, huge ways. And I want to do that in person. And I have the desire to speak on stage about body positivity, body confidence, self-love, and an even bigger dream to be holding women's empowerment retreats, luxury women's empowerment retreats all over the world, such as Greece and Paris and Australia and Bali and all the places that just will be amazing. I have to be able to do that in person. I have to be able to get on a plane. I have to be able to do these things. So I decided right then and there, I was not going to give in to irrational fear ever again. Because the alternative was to not live my dreams. The alternative was to shrink and shrivel and be in shame and self-hatred. And that was not why I came to this earth. Now, how I was going to do that, I didn't know at the time. I just knew that I was not going to give in to irrational fear and that I would find a way. I told myself that 2021 Tasha did not get in her own way, did not stop herself from living or connecting or finding the love of my life and experiencing all the things that I want to do. So that's what I did. And I went to work petitioning the universe, talking to the universe about there has to be an easier way. There has to be a gentler way. There has to be a gentler way than somebody saying to us, you have to just face your fears and you have to just go through it and you have to face it and you just have to do it and it's all in your head and you just have to get over that. And like, I tried that. Uncle's funeral, many other times I tried it. Just jumping in, deep end first, just bam, right into the deep end, not knowing how to swim yet. And just expecting myself, my survival instincts to kick into a place where I could just do it. That's not living either. I didn't want that. It was re-traumatizing my brain and my body all over again, because after my uncle's funeral and after every other time I'd attempt something, not only would I lose complete hope, I would also not leave my house for weeks and weeks, terrified of feeling a panic attack again. Because when I had panic attacks, I basically was passing out without passing out, and it felt like I was dying. And I didn't want to face that again. I was like, I don't want to go through that. I would rather stay home and unsafe and in my fake safe place than to feel that fear of dying every single time I leave the house. And not only that, but wasn't I supposed to be feeling some sort of accomplishment when I did that? Wasn't I supposed to be feeling some sort of, okay, I did it, let's go? No, every time I felt more traumatized. It didn't do, facing my fears and jumping right into that deep end of the pool that I can't even see the bottom of made it worse, made it horrible. And I was like, there has to be a way. There has to be a better, gentler way to do this that is gentle to the body, or gentler to the body at least, right? So I ran across a program of a woman who basically was using these words. And I was like, what is this? Oh my gosh, here's my answer. Here's my answer. So I call her up. Well, I set up an appointment. She calls me. Her program is way too expensive. One of the things she says to me though is, we have to learn to keep our eyes open when we are not facing our fears, what she say, when we are changing things and going out and doing these things to work through these things. And that was really interesting to me, because when I'm in a car and having a panic attack, I close my eyes and I go inside because I don't want to see what's coming in front around the car angle, and I don't want to feel what's going on because it's too much, it's too overwhelming, I'm taking in too much, there's too much stimulation. And oftentimes if I get into a space where I'm too panicked, I'll be in the passenger seat and I will turn around and try to get into the back of the car basically. Like, I just don't want to see it. I want to be like, I just picture myself like on the ground in the back seat behind like the seats, just hiding and covering, right? Just like trying to get cover, trying to get some sort of grounding feeling, safety feeling. And that was interesting to me. I was like, okay, she's like, we have to face those things. We have to allow ourselves to feel all the feelings. And I was just like, okay, that was really interesting to me. And for the first time, because there were other programs, other things that I wanted to take, but I couldn't afford them. And I always found myself just getting mad. Great, see, knew it, great. Now I can't afford it. Now I can't do it. Now I'm not able to. So I guess I'm just stuck with this forever. And I'm just going to be, alone forever. And I'm just, fuck it, I don't want to live. And I would just go with spiral and do the things that I know you're all probably, for those of you that suffer this way, I know you have your own tape that plays, right? But for once, I'd been learning so many things about myself and how to heal that I remembered that when you have a different reaction to something, it opens up new doors for messages and signs and new perspectives to see things. And so I was like, I instantly remembered that, or got downloaded, or whatever you want to call it, got the message. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have a different response this time. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Just because I'm not able to do this program right now doesn't mean that there's not something out there. In fact, it means the opposite, in my opinion. If something like that's coming to me, then to me, that means I'm close. I'm really close to finding that thing that I want, because I've attracted something that's almost there. That's almost what I need. So I sat in that. And that was powerful, because I said it again to the universe. Okay, you've sent me something that is really close to what I'm looking for. It's out there, so teach me. I want to not only heal myself, but I want to be able to heal others. I want to be able to free others so they don't have to suffer with this for 14, 15, 20 years. I want to help other people. It's such a deep, deep desire for me to have my pain be used for something good. Yeah. So after saying that prayer from that new energy source, right? That energy source of allowing instead of, oh shit, I'm always going to be this way, blah, blah, like that's a closed off, blocked space that blocks messages and signs and new perspectives from coming to you so you can have the stuff you really need. And because I now had that space and was coming to the universe with this more open-hearted of like, I'm allowing that to be a good thing, see it as a good thing, that no, that rejection is my protection, that rejection is, you know, something else, it's more information. About 2 weeks later, I remembered that I had tried watching point of view YouTube driving videos. I was like, oh, a long time ago, I've been like, oh, I wonder if I could pull up, like, it's not virtual reality, which is like the next best thing, which would be awesome, which is something I plan on doing, by the way, for other people. But this was the next best thing. I had a nice big TV, and even on my phone, it was the same reaction. I mean, I could pull it up and watch those things, and I would still get triggered. And I was like, I wonder if, since I'm in my safe place, if I could watch those videos and allow those emotions to come up in the safe place, and then I could maybe work through them instead of getting so fearful that I have to turn around and come back home because I'm already home. And I was like, okay, well, that was interesting. So let's do that. So I started to watch those videos. And yeah, it triggered me because I watched freeway driving videos, right? Because driving in town is, yeah, scary for me. Don't get me wrong, because I'm, or, you know, once I realize I'm too far from the house, then I'm screwed, or was. And so you have to watch my thinking still, the way I talk still. I still have to watch that because I suffered with this for so long. So yeah, I remember crying a lot. And no real reason, just fear coming up, just this fear. And I committed. I was like, I'm going to do this for 30 days. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch this. Actually, no, I hadn't said that yet. I had planned on watching them and just trying to work through it at that point. And after a couple days of doing that and lots of emotion coming up, I was taking a bath. And lots of healers and psychics, if you are one watching, you'll agree with this and know, but we get a lot of downloads in water because water is a conduit for messages and spirit. And so I was in bed, and all of a sudden I get this downloaded thought that's from my higher self. I know it is. It's not for me. And the thought is in the message, is in the form of a question. And the question is, why does your body want to go home when it's out? Why does it immediately want to go home? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to follow this, and I'm just going to have a conversation with myself out loud. And so I said out loud, because that's where it feels safe. And the message came, but why? Why does it feel safe? And I answered, well, because it feels familiar. It knows where it's at. It knows the four walls. It's familiar. But why does it feel familiar? The message said again. And then I said, because it feels relaxed. And then it hit me. I was like, oh my God, it just wants to be relaxed. My body just wants to feel relaxed. Well, fuck, I can give it that. I can give it relaxation. I can do that. And then I just got the message, like, if I could do a full body relaxation while feeling panic, and that's what my body wants, there would be no reason for the agoraphobia, the panic, the anxiety to even be around. It would have nowhere to go. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, that's it. And then I got the message, if I could do the full body relaxation while watching the point of view driving videos before I even leave the house, now I've basically just created this huge armor basically of relaxation that I can now take out into the world, because my body was already watching the videos like I'm there. The technique's already happening in my body. And then on top of that, I already do a daily meditation practice, but I could do this specifically for the agoraphobia and panic attacks. And that's a 6-step process that I do that is specific. And there's 6 minutes each thing you do for 6 days a week, 6 steps. So 666, I know, don't go there. Actually, if you look up numerology, that 666 means something completely different than, not today, Satan. So, for those of you that are freaked out by that, that was not something that's not something I planned. It was just like what it was. I used to do it for 10 minutes, then realized that was too long and too much time. It was like an hour. And so I shortened it to 6. Anyways, I digress. So I started with this full body relaxation technique. And I also said 2 words with that technique because I'm also a hypnotherapist. And I know that using words with relaxation can anchor something in the body. So by using these 2 words, when I was out in the world, I could say these 2 words. This was my thought process. I could say these 2 words and it would instantly remind my body of the relaxation technique and I would just instantly relax. I have an instant relaxation technique that's not that, by the way. That's helpful, but I found something that was actually a little bit better, which I'll tell you about. So anyways, I'm going to commit to 30 days of doing this. I'm going to do the relaxation technique every day. Just do it. I'm going to start my day with it. And then I'm also going to watch these point of view driving videos. I found specific ones that I liked. Found specific ones that I liked. And I would do the relaxation technique while watching these videos. And I was like, oh, this is just it's going to make new pathways in my brain. It's going to make my brain feel relaxed and safe. My body's going to naturally come in and follow. By the way, I just have to say this. Belching and yawning, as well as farting, are all, when you're doing that while talking about source things and you're channeling things and you're talking about big things, it's actually a form of release. Yawning for me and for a lot of psychics and healers is actually a confirmation of what you're talking about. So I don't yawn very often. It's only when I'm having big conversations like this. So I just want to point that out in case people are just like, what is going on? Or if you do that a lot, think about that from now on and be aware of that. It's kind of cool. But anyways, so I was like, I'm going to commit to this for 30 days. So I did. I set it up. And wouldn't you know, within 2 weeks of doing that, I was so relaxed from watching these videos, you guys, that I was falling asleep sitting up. Like, the kid that's in the backseat of the car and they're like slumped over, like all the way over, and you don't know how the hell they're sleeping like that. It was like that because I'd sit up in bed and I'd watch and then I would end up completely slumped over. I would wake myself up snoring sometimes. It had an ASMR effect. And if you know what ASMR is, you're going to be like, what? ASMR, look it up on YouTube. I don't have time to explain that, but it's a relaxation type of videos with all different levels of things that teaches you, that helps you relax. So anyways, I was like, okay, well, I don't need to do the point of view driving videos anymore. And the relaxation technique is obviously working. So, and since they're already working, I figured it was time to maybe take it out into the world. Well, I needed to get my birth control pills, and I don't have a car. My roommate doesn't have a car. I had recently reconnected with my best friend, Aubrey, which I was super happy about. And so I was like, asked her if she would take me to Fred Meyer's to get my birth control pills. And she was like, of course. Of course, she's so just amazing. We hadn't talked in about 3 years, and Aubrey's obviously knew me when I was having all of these issues, and she was what a good friend is, in my opinion, an enabler. How can I help you? You don't want to go, it's fine. We'll go this route. We'll go this direction. She was that person whenever we would drive somewhere, and I felt safe with her. She was a safe person, so to speak. But I didn't have any other choice to really. I mean, I could have taken an Uber, I guess, but I wasn't ready to jump into that part of the pool yet, right? It really tell my clients and people about this, that you need to start very small. So this was a good way to start. I hadn't been out of the house in 6 months. It was a 9-minute drive. I'd been doing the technique. I was excited to try it, which was weird because I wasn't excited to try anything that I'd done before. And I know you're all going to resonate with that too. I tried fucking everything. I tried tapping. I tried EMDR. I think that's what it's called, the I thing. And I did other types of energy healings. I'm also a Reiki master. I tried hypnotherapy. It's like these things would have temporary fixes for me. Like I'd be like, oh my God, I think I found something. And then it's like my body would become immune to it and it would go right back to where it was. And the reason for that was because a couple of things. If you're not giving it to yourself, it can be taken from you. So I'd find crystals that would work temporarily. Some technique temporarily. Because it's not yours. So it's going to have a temporary energy structure to it. It's a temporary fix. It's help. It's not healing. There's a difference. So yeah. So anyways, she came to get me. Let's go back here. I sometimes go back and forth. Sorry, not sorry. And we get into the car, and first of all, I'm shaking. Okay, I'm shaking. I'm scared, but I'm like, oh my God, I've been downloaded this information, so I know it's gonna work, and I already feel like it's working already. Like already with watching the videos, like I was just reminding my body. Like my body was really scared, but my mind was like, no, we've got to try something. We've decided that this year we're not giving in to irrational fear, and we're not staying home anymore because it doesn't get us anything. That is not healing. That is not healing us. It's keeping us sick. We're not keeping ourselves sick. We're not getting in our own way. And so I was like, I'm going. And plus, if this works, I could help other people. And as you already saw, that's very, very, very deep desire of mine. So I get into the car, and of course, Aubrey, as my friend who's known me for a long time, but hasn't been around me in a long time, looks at me and she goes, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. I'm terrified, but I'm not giving into irrational fear anymore, so we're going. She's like, are you sure? Because we don't have to go. And I was like, no, we're going. Let's go. And she was just like, oh, because that's not how I was. I wasn't like that. I didn't have this feeling of like, I want to try. It was a feeling of, I'm going to fuck up. I'm going to not be able to make it. It was like a terrified, quiet, like I was almost just like, and also I feel like I was in victim mode, really, to be honest. There's a payoff to staying stuck in our houses. And that payoff is we never get hurt. We never get to experience life, and we never get to have memories made, and we never get to do any of the things, but we never get hurt. I would rather get hurt and live. That was the space that I was at. I was done dying and being the wrong reason for my own dying. I was done. I thought if my mind can get me into this, my mind can get me the fuck out of it. And so here we are, right? So anyways, we get in the car and we start to drive, and I'm fine. And Aubrey's doing what she knows I like, which is she has the GPS up. I can see how many more minutes we have, which is my thing. I'm like, we've only got 5 more minutes. We've already got 2 more minutes. And she would do it. She's like, we only got 4 more minutes left. Like she was doing the things, right? And, which I just love her for. But at the time I did need that. I don't need that anymore. I like to have it, but I don't need it. So anyways, I started to feel some anxiety come up, and I say the 2 words that are associated with my relaxation technique, and I start to do the relaxation technique, and it goes away. And I'm like, oh, okay, shit, maybe this fucking shit works. So you get a little further down the road, and I realize I'm far from home, and I have that thought of like, oh God, if I now go too far, then I don't have time to get back home before I have a fucking panic attack. And I start to feel that, and I just stop myself. I was like, nope, I'm not thinking that anymore. And it's that death grip decision, right? To not give into irrational fear. So this other part of me is kicked in. I'm doing the mindset work. I've done the meditation process. I'm doing the point of view of driving videos. I've done the relaxation technique. I've been for 2 weeks straight, I've been building up all of this relaxation in my body to re-trigger myself in positive ways. So I use that, and it comes up again, and I use it again, and it goes away. And then we start to get close to where we're at, and I realize we're really far from home, and I really start to panic. And I was like, I just started doing it again, and it just went away. And I was like, holy crap, it's like not here. It's like not even like in the back of my mind here. Like it's not even here. What? So I get inside. Now, when I get inside places, I'm not somebody who has anxiety like in lines, at stores. I don't have anxiety around people. Like for me, once I'm inside a fake safe place, right? I've got a cover. I feel like I'm like inside. I'm fine. I could spend all day in Fred Meyer's or inside a grocery store. That would be like my happy place. So I don't have a problem in there. But I filmed myself. I made it to the store. This is a huge thing. Huge thing. Trying to celebrate all my small wins. It's another important thing. Celebrate your small wins. It's so important. So I get in the car, and we go home, and the anxiety comes up just barely at like one point. I took a driving video also. This is all on Facebook. It's not on these videos aren't on my YouTube channel, but that is in my Facebook. So I film it, and I'm like, you guys, like, look, I'm making it. And there was like one little tiny bit of anxiety that came up on the way home, and there was nothing. I was like, holy shit. holy shit, I actually felt what it was like for a minute to have control back. Because our bodies make those decisions, right? They make those decisions. If we're in fear space and our body's like, hell no, we turn around and fucking go home. We do whatever we can to not feel that. So we never get to make our own decisions. And some days we feel like we can do it. Some days we fucking feel like we can't. And we just never know. It's like a roll of the dice. It's like the Russian roulette, so to speak. It's like, let's spin the wheel and see where we land today, if we're going to be able to do something today. And for once, I just had a glimpse of like, maybe I can like make my own decisions. Like, holy shit. So that was really powerful. And then the next time I got out, what was the next time? Oh, I went to Ross. I was like, oh, I want to go shopping. Oh God, I love shopping so much. I used to love shopping, driving to the beach by myself. I would drive to Seattle, which is like a 3-hour drive. I drive to Bend, which is like a 4-hour drive by myself. I loved driving. I loved going to take myself to lunch by myself. I'd go to a movie by myself. I'd go to the library, the bookstore. Fuck, the bookstore is my favorite place on the earth. And I loved doing these things. And so I was like, I want to go shopping. I need to go shopping for other reasons that I'm going to mention in a minute. So we go shopping and the anxiety starts to come up again. And I'm starting to have new perspectives, new things like, while in town anyways, this wouldn't be something that would have, I'm like, this wouldn't help me in the middle of like nowhere. But right now, if my fake safe place is to be in cover and undercover and just get in a building, I was looking around because we were in the city, and I was like, oh, we could stop anywhere and I would just go inside a building and be safe. And all of a sudden that made me feel safer. I was like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't make sense anymore. It's like things just started to not make sense. It was like, or again, irrational, like, oh, that doesn't really make sense anymore. And I could just go in there or there or there or wherever. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess this doesn't matter anymore. Okay, cool. And so we went shopping. Shopping was great. We went home. No anxiety on the way home. And I was filming this, by the way, and ended up erasing it. I was like, oh, I kept looking at Aubrey going, I'm filming this, but nothing's happening. I don't have anything to show anyone. I was hoping, what the fuck, who says this? Not me. I was hoping for something so I could show people how to use the relaxation technique, but fuck, nothing's happening. So shit. So I erased it. And then the next time we went out, I had to go back to Ross in order to, return some things because Ross and a lot of other places don't have their what am I trying to say? They don't have their dressing rooms open right now because of the freaking pandemic. And so I had things to return. Now, this was another challenge that came up because I was talking to a friend of mine and I started getting triggered by some mother wounds that were coming up. And I was hysterically crying. In fact, it's so weird when we release things because I don't necessarily remember what it was I was even talking to her about, but it was very, very emotional, deep stuff. The full body release cry, the ugly cry, we call it, right? That big release where we just are just sobbing uncontrollably, and to the point where you're exhausted afterwards. You feel like your eyes are going to swell shut from crying so much, right? And so, my friend Aubrey's on her way to pick me up. She has to drive 30 minutes to get to me. So I'm getting in the car like it's happening. Okay, so that's another thing that would stop me, by the way, is the fear of, I would just stop going out with people because I had this fear of disappointing and this fear of wasting people's time. I was always afraid that they would pick me up, we'd go halfway to somewhere where we were going out, and then I would get freaked out, turn around, and have to come back home. And so I would just stop going out with people. So this came up for me where I was like, oh God, she's coming. It's 30 minutes. Fuck, I have to get in the car. And then I just let myself be like, I don't have to get in the car if I don't want. Aubrey fucking is totally understanding. And even if she wasn't, I don't have to do anything I don't want to fucking do. Once I gave myself that permission, that fear space just kind of diminished. It went away, dissipated. So anyway, she knocks on the door. I open it up and my face is just, cry fucked up. And she's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, no, I've just had a really big release around my mom and I'm just like feeling drained. And she's like, oh, we don't curse, doing the awesome friend thing, our lovely enabler friends. She's like, oh, we don't have to go. We can go another day. I go, nope. I said, I'm not giving into irrational fear anymore. I'm not fucking doing it. I'm not doing it. And so I went to film myself again because I was like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm emotional. I was terrified to leave the fucking house at that point. And I just knew I was going to panic. So I get in the car and we start to go down the road and I look at Aubrey and I go, I don't fucking feel anything. There's no anxiety. It's just not there. It was there when I was leaving the house, but it's not fucking there. And I'm just blown away by this. Like, this is what seems to be happening. I'm terrified, my body's shaking, I'm scared. I go to get in the car, and I get in the car, and then there's nothing. There's nothing. It's just again proving it is all in here. It's all in here, and yes, trauma is stored in the body. Yes, it is. But the mind has more power. Because once I make the decision that I'm not giving into that irrational fear, and we get in the car and we go halfway down the street, my mind has taken over, my body follows, and now there's nothing but just to be and exist. So anyway, that was that day. Then the next day was I got in a car with my roommate, Patricia, who this was another challenge because she wasn't my safe person. She wasn't somebody I felt comfortable with, but I was like, I need to mail some things and it needs to get done. So I got in the car with her. It'd been snowing horrifically. Her car was kind of messed up because she went over somewhere and the ice fucked it up. Anyways, we ended up having to take like detours to get everywhere we needed to, which would have totally like ransacked me. Her whole car smelled like weed, which is a massive trigger for me. And all these things that should have given me anxiety, should have made me freak the fuck out, didn't. Yeah, anxiety started to come up. Yes, I used my relaxation technique. I used my instant relaxation technique. Which is, by the way, I'll let you know what that is because I don't know why I haven't brought that up. But basically what that is every time I start to feel any sort of anxiety, fear, even a thought process, I notice that I'm getting scared and I go, I'm relaxing into that. And as I say those words, I'm relaxing into that, I literally like my body just follows those words. Like my muscles relax and I usually just naturally, my body just, I'm relaxing into that and I just breathe into it and I literally let it go. And if I usually feel tension or like the tension of worries in my hands or in my head, it's in my eyes sometimes, literally like I feel like I'm getting tunnel vision, my hands, my legs, definitely my solar plexus stomach area. And so if I can locate that as well, I literally breathe into that. I relax. I'm relaxing into that. I'm relaxing into that. Because what happens is in fear, we do this thing where we tense up and we tighten up and we get more scared and we're, oh my God, I want to see, oh my God, what's happening? And instead, so then it gets worse. The anxiety gets worse. We're constricted. Our body's now in fight mode. It's like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? How do we get rid of this? And our body just does what it normally does to try to get rid of it. And the adrenaline's pumping and now you're fucked. So instead, at the very first start of it, I relax into it. I just breathe and I relax into it and I just let it go. And I do get sometimes a little bit of a lightheaded feeling because I've been doing this, right? So I do get a little bit of a lightheaded feeling, but that instantly goes away and then I'm literally relaxed for the rest of the trip, rest of the ride. It's crazy how fast it works. That's why I call it instant, because it fucking is. So the next thing I have to tackle is a freeway. And I've told myself I want to tackle a freeway. I don't think I can properly tell people that this technique works and be able to actually help people and be doing an actual paid program around it to help people if I've not tackled a freeway. So we've decided to go get our nails and toes done before I move, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So we do. And I know for a fact, I know for a fucking fact that I'm going to have a panic attack. There's no way. I haven't been on a freeway in almost a year. I think it was actually a year at that point. I hadn't been on a freeway in almost a year or a year, whatever. And I just knew there's no way I'm not going to have a panic attack. And this is how I also know, I'm getting the message to tell you guys, this is how I also know how well this technique works. Because now it's subconscious. Because I'm literally thinking I'm going to have a panic attack, which is what normally makes panic attacks come in. We have these thoughts, the thoughts get obsessive, they're stuck in our body, they're retriggering the things in our bodies, they're matching up together and they're exploding into a fucking episode, right? But now I've been doing this stuff now for so long, which has only been like, at this point, I think it's been 2 months on and off that I've been doing. Been doing the relaxation technique every day. I watch the point of view driving videos before I'm going to go out because I'm trying to make sure that I get all that out if I start to feel anxiety. Not every time, but sometimes. And so I just know. So I get in the car and I'm so scared. I'm so scared, you guys, that I'm trembling. And I don't even remember walking out the door and getting into the car. That's how terrified I was. But I'd already had in my mind now, I'd already, again, this is why we don't jump into the deep end. Because now I've built up confidence. That even though I'm scared, I know that even though I'm scared, I'm going to get in the car, get halfway down the road, and the anxiety's going to go away because it happens every time. I have proof of that. I have proof that this shit fucking works. I have proof that it's just my body reacting from old, outdated programming in it. I know this. So I'm going anyways because I know it's going to happen. And I also know I'm going to have a panic attack. So it's like my body's fighting me at this point, right? But I'm like, there's something bigger, because then that death grip of a decision comes in again that says, we're not giving into irrational fear. This is irrational. We're not doing this. So I get into the car. I don't remember getting into the car, but we get halfway down the road. And again, the anxiety, and I'm filming, and I've kept it filming. This video is up on my YouTube channel. And I film it. And I'm looking at Aubrey and I'm like, there's fucking nothing. We go to get on the freeway and you see, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety. I relax into that. I let it go. I'm repeating the 2 words that go along with my relaxation technique. Even now, as I say them, my body literally just starts to like relax. It's very interesting. I get calmer. And I get onto the freeway. And you see me, I'm like, there's nothing. I don't feel shit. We're on the on-ramp, which is the scary part for me. We're on the on-ramp. Once we're on the on-ramp, then we're on and we can't get the fuck off, okay, until the next exit or whatever. And now I want to go back home and now it's too late and blah, blah, blah. And so that's my trigger point, right? That on-ramp. And I was just like, I don't feel shit. I don't fucking feel anything. I don't feel anything. What the fuck? There was such a fucking freedom in that. I was like, what is going on right now? Is this my life? Is this really happening? So we get there, we get our nails and toes done. I meet a lady while getting my nails and toes done. We're now friends with on Facebook. It's fucking awesome. And we go back home, no anxiety. Filmed the whole thing on the way home too, no anxiety. What? On top of this, I've manifested fucking living in Hawaii. I have to get on a plane. I have to move to Hawaii. I'm moving to Hawaii without even knowing where the fuck I'm gonna live. Me, 14 years of fucking agoraphobia with horrific panic attacks. Me, couldn't leave my house for 6 months. Moving to Hawaii, bought a ticket to Hawaii. Hawaii called to me. I did not call to Hawaii. I manifested it and it came to me. Yeah, and I'm in Hawaii right fucking now. And I'm going to show you in a minute. For those of you that have been watching me, you already know all this stuff. But for those of you that are new, yeah, I've been here for 3 weeks. And the first night was fucking horrific. And that video's on there too. That video will blow you away because that video was like, I was going home to Portland, Portland had nothing for me and no one for me. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going back home to my bed and my fucking fake safe place. And I'm never leaving again. And fucking Hawaii hates me. And now I'm living in this gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful fucking area, which I'm going to show you videos of here in a minute. Okay, just hold on. And I got on the plane successfully, easily. I even enjoyed takeoff. I was like, woohoo, through takeoff. There's film of me live on I went live. I was able to go live up in the air. How cool is that? And I also filmed landing. I should have filmed takeoff, but I didn't. There was turbulence, and I was somewhat fearful through some of it just because I don't like turbulence. But I was also laughing through the worst of it because I was actually in the bathroom when it happened, and it was like I was on a ride and shit, and it was funny. And the lady next to me was also in the bathroom at the same time, so when we both came back to our seats, we both were cracking up laughing about how we felt like we were on some kind of fucking bucking bronco. We both were laughing about turbulence. You guys, what the fuck? Okay, so then I am living in this beautiful place now. I stayed at an Airbnb the first night. It was fucking hell. Annette, my beautiful, beautiful friend Annette, she lives in Hawaii. She's a native to Hawaii. She came, she spent time with me. She brought me her beautiful hat from her deceased, beautiful best friend that you'll see pictures of me. You see videos of me in it and pictures of me in it on Facebook if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram. And she came and stayed with me and made me just feel amazing. She sent me a beautiful necklace of kukui nuts that did make me feel safe. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, it wasn't my safe. That wasn't like a fake safe. It wasn't a magical item, but it did make me feel a little safer because I knew it was there with love and with the island and all the things. And so that was okay. And that was not okay. It was great. I got to spend some time with her and I love her. So grateful to her and her friendship and love. And then my friend Lisa, who lives about 90 minutes from Kona, which is where I flew into, she saw my Facebook post of me just like, what the hell, I'm just going home. And she was like, girl, just come spend a week with me. Get recentered, figure out what you're doing. You can come and whatever. I have 3 kids. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I love kids. So 90 minutes in a car. I haven't driven in a car for 90 minutes yet. Beautiful drive, although it was nighttime, so I didn't really see that much. And yes, her kids are wild. Okay, she's a 4-year-old. They're my favorite. I love all of them. But he is a wild little 4-year-old. Screams and yells at the top of his lungs and talks super loud and is very personality and just, lots of high energy. He's a 4-year-old, And then she's got an 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 2 little girls, and I love them. They're amazing. Special, special little girls. Anyways, I get in the car and I'm fine. The drive is fine. I do completely fine with a person I've never met in person yet. In a car with 3 kids screaming in the background, and we go get sushi. I'm not dealing well with the heat at all. I'm dealing much better than I am now, but that was something else that was giving me anxiety, was all the heat. It's a whole different story. Watch the video. Anyways, I get up here and holy shit, the views. This place is so beautiful. I'm at the edge of Hawaii. I live at the edge of the fucking island. Literally, we go out her backyard and there's a cliff, and if you jump off it, you're in the ocean and there's no more island. On top of this, you can see fucking Maui from the backyard. Maui, which has been calling to me to live there since before I moved to Hawaii, started showing up. Kihei started showing up. And so I'm moving to Maui in May or June. I've been extended to stay here. I'm in the apartment, the attached apartment that's in this place right now. That's where I'm at currently. So grateful. I got the experience of nannying and being a mom because she needed me to do that. And it's been a wonderful experience. It's taught me so much about myself and patience and tolerance and fun and laughter and being loved. Oh my God, this family has healed my family wounds. Like, I cried so hard over that. I feel a part of this family. That's amazing, incredible, loving family that took me to the most beautiful, incredible resort. And it's called the Hilton Resort, Water Resort and Spa. The video's up of that as well. You can see it on there. And it is just epic. I made it to a beach. I sat in the ocean and let the waves crash over me. In only 2 months of deciding that I was not going to let irrational fear take my life anymore, and committing to a process that fucking works. I am so grateful and blessed to have my life back. And I did the next thing because I was telling people, oh, I'm over it. I'm over agoraphobia. It's gone. It's gone. And then I realized I hadn't done a drive by myself. I hadn't actually driven a car by myself yet. Oh, oops. I don't have a safe person. Bitch, you're always the passenger. Yes, you have. And so I got that opportunity. I drove for an hour by myself, and that video's up on my YouTube as well. And I do go through the instant relaxation technique, and I did the drive, and you can hear me in the video just being elated of like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm fucking doing this. And that's when I decided to make this video, because it's like, I've done all of it. I've done all the things that I wasn't able to do successfully and peacefully. I make the decisions now, not my body. I get to decide. I get to have my life back. I no longer have to miss another uncle's funeral or father's, or God forbid, anybody else in my family. I don't have to miss anyone's wedding again, a birth of a child, to go out and see them as they're growing up, my best friend's birthdays, girl time of just hanging out and doing things, going to the beach and enjoying the ocean, just enjoying life. And never, ever have to miss out on that again, because this isn't some thing that can be taken from you. You're giving this to yourself. You are becoming your own safe place, which means you can go anywhere because you are always safe. Yes, there's going to be contrast. Yes, there's going to be things that still give us anxiety. Yes, there's going to be things that are going to scare us. I'm not saying that it's going to take away all your stuff to the point where you're just this zen, peaceful motherfucker all the time. No, it's not how life works. But this isn't something that's going to feel like you're white knuckling anymore. You're going to feel peace. You're going to feel relaxed. You're going to feel in control for once. You get to go and do things and not have to feel like you can barely make it or barely do it, or if it's going to creep back up and you're going to be retriggered. It can't be retriggered with this because you're giving it to yourself. I've noticed that the techniques are done less and less and less, which means they're going to be done completely. This is healing. This is not helping. There's a difference. This is healing. This is making new pathways in your brain, new perspectives. Your body follows that. It learns that it's safe in any environment that you are because you are your safe place. So I have an 8-week program that will be done in July. It's going to be online. Just thinking because we're all agoraphobic and nobody wants to leave their house. But you will. You will be able to do that after 8 weeks. I know I can help you because mine was severe and horrible and horrific. And I know without a doubt that the reason why I suffered for so many years was so that I could say that to you. Because a person who only suffered for a year or 2 years or even 5 years wouldn't be, I was going to say maybe wouldn't be, but it wouldn't be as impactful as 14 fucking years and somebody who's tried everything and who wanted to kill themselves and begged to die and has been through all the feelings of a dissociation and ups and downs and being at the mercy of your body every day and missing out on life. You don't have to do that anymore. I can help you. I'm excited to help you. So please, if you're interested, email me, message me, make a comment below. All 3. Subscribe, save this video, like this video, share it with your friends if you know someone that can use this. Pass my video along, pass my story along. I want my story to help people more than anything. I want my pain to be used to help heal other people. And I know I can do that because I've done it myself. Thanks for watching. In order to get in contact with me, you can email me at ilovetasha@gmail.com. That's ilovetahsha@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at Tasha Renee, TAHSHARENEE, or Instagram, Tasha_Renee. I hope to hear from you soon. And I can't wait to help you get your life back. Much love and blessings. I would show you where I live in Hawaii. Shall we?